Homebuilder sentiment ticked down in March to a 7-month low. The survey from the National Association of Home Builders noted builders are feeling the pressure of elevated construction costs, among other supply-side challenges. Joining me now with more on the state of the housing market, we've got Katie Hubbard, Walton Global's Executive Vice President of Capital Markets. Good to have you here with us. So just take us into what builders are navigating right now from what you're able to see through some of the data points.
Yeah, Brad, thanks so much for having me. So our builder clients, which are the top public home builders, they're definitely feeling the effects of the uncertainty in the marketplace and the volatility. The demand is still there. People still want to buy homes, but with tariffs and potential, deportation, increased labor costs, and still elevated mortgage rates, there's no surprise that home builder confidence did go down.
From what you can quantify right now, what would be the impact of tariffs on the home builders and potentially the home purchasers, the buyers out there as well?
Yeah, so we saw the tariffs under Trump's first administration. And so typically, what we're seeing is increased housing prices of up to $4,000 to $8,000 for lumber. And then also we're looking at, gypsum coming from Mexico, which is the product that is made for drywall. And then with China, we've got steel prices and appliances coming from China. So all of those tariffs combined, could potentially increase the housing prices, $5,000 to $10,000. But in the near term, home builders are building going into spring season with lumber that they purchased on lumber futures about 6 months ago. So we're really not going to see the effects until later this year on what that will do for the home builders. And then it is anticipated that they will push a lot of those costs on to the ultimate home buyers. However, it's important for them to keep their volume going, and they want to build the home, so they're going to just build smaller homes to really offset that cost to keep people comfortable at the average housing at the monthly payment, because that's really what the entry-level home purchasers are sensitive to, that monthly home payment. So they'll just build smaller homes and adjust.
What are some of the hot markets that you're hearing about from home builders right now, and where clients are investing either in land purchasers or just looking at for the rest of this year as viable opportunities?
Yeah, because there's a lot of uncertainty. They're going to the markets that continue to do well for them. And that's really where people are moving. So you've got population growth, lower taxes, affordability, jobs. And so that's markets consistently. You're going to see Texas on that list. The top builders are very active in Texas. Also in the Southeast, places like Charlotte. You've got the Southwest. Phoenix is still a very desirable and dependable market for the home builders. They are also actually looking into getting into secondary and tertiary markets where land is more affordable and they can build more affordable houses. So you're looking at places like Louisiana that the home builders are venturing into. Wow,
Louisiana. Okay, all right, cool. Might be time for me to brush up on some of my New Orleans dialect to the extent that it still exists. But at the end of the day, one of the major things that we're considering as well in this climate is affordability. And with that affordability, it's often been talked about the affordability crisis and the efficiency of building up these new homes. How is that kind of holding par with one another as we're looking at consumers getting ready for the spring buying season here?
Yeah, affordability continues to be an issue, and we need more supply. So there's two things. There's levers that the Trump administration can do, and that is really going and executing on the talk of deregulation. So that's making the permitting process easier. If you look at the regulatory costs going into a home, it could add up to 25 to 30% of the home cost just on the regulatory factors. So deregulating, making zoning laws more lax in certain places. Well, that is done at the local level. What Trump and his administration can do is really incentivize local jurisdictions to ease their zoning through tax cuts and funding. So that's one, is just deregulation. And really, tariffs are going to potentially cause inflation. And when you have inflation, that causes the 10-year treasury to go up. So really managing the tariffs effect on home building materials and the inflation, because the 30-year fixed rate mortgage is really highly correlated to the 10-year treasury. So we need to see the 10-year treasury go down to about 3.73 using today's spreads to get that mortgage rate below 6%, which I know there's a lot of people on the sidelines, and that's affecting the home builder confidence. People are still there wanting to buy homes, but they want the rates to drop below 6. So really bringing down rates is going to be another way that the Trump administration. They're also looking at local using U.S. forest land for domestic logging, with the lumber tariffs potentially coming on Canada. So talking about sustainably harvesting up to 280 million acres of U.S. forest land to bring down the housing costs. And then on the home builder side of what we can do on affordability is really building smaller homes cheaper and faster. So our builder clients, the public home builders, are looking at innovative ways to build homes cheaper and faster. So they're looking at new products like, for example, D.R. Horton just purchased 10 million sheets of plywood that were built from actually fast growing grass. And it saves about 12 trees per home. And it's a net carbon negative product. They're doing things like 3D printing. D.R. Horton invested in Boxable, which is you can literally buy a home and unfold it in a few days. But not all places will allow zoning, and not all states allow zoning for that type of a product. So again, going back to the deregulation, so home builders are incentivized to do these innovative builds.